What if Robert Pattinson's Batman wasn't locked away in his own gritty little world? What if he actually crossed paths with James Gunn's Superman, creating a collision of tones and characters fans have been begging for? That single question has lit up forums, dominated interviews, and sparked endless debate since the moment both projects were announced. Fans aren't satisfied with keeping these universes separate anymore. They want to see the Dark Knight standing shoulder to shoulder with the Man of Steel. And here's the shocking part, the filmmakers themselves haven't ruled it out. In fact, if you look closely at what Reeves, Gunn, and even members of their production teams are saying, the door is wide open, maybe wider than most people realize. But asking what if isn't enough anymore because the people behind the camera are being asked the very same question over and over again. Every time Matt Reeves, James Gunn, or even someone remotely tied to the DC films steps into an interview, you can practically predict what's coming. After the usual chatter about casting, production schedules, or upcoming trailers, there it is, the one question fans never stop asking. Will Robert Pattinson's Batman cross over into James Gunn's DC universe? It's the elephant in the room, the headline people want, and the answer that continues to hover in the same mysterious gray area. For over 2 years now, the responses have been careful but fascinating. Sometimes it's James Gunn playing coy, acknowledging the possibility but never committing. Sometimes it's Reeves, reminding everyone that his Batman saga was built to stand alone, carefully separated from capes, aliens, and intergalactic wars. Other times, it's Peter Safran, co-running DC Studios with Gunn, slipping in phrases like, "We've had those conversations," or "It's always on the table." None of them ever slammed the door shut, and that silence, that refusal to say never, is exactly why fans keep pushing harder. Think about it. If the idea truly wasn't possible, they just end the speculation outright. They'd say, no, these universes are separate, period. But instead, what we get is hesitation. What we get is wording like, "not at this point," or "we'll see." Those phrases matter. They keep hope alive. And in Hollywood, words are chosen with surgical precision. Nobody accidentally fuels fan theories unless they want those theories to survive. So, right now, we're in a strange limbo. Officially, Pattinson's Batman is still a separate entity, playing in his own dark sandbox. Officially, Gunn's DCU is launching with a clean slate, building its own Superman, Supergirl, and Brave and the Bold Batman. But unofficially, the questions keep piling up, the interviews keep happening, and the non-answers keep sounding more and more like breadcrumbs. When two creative giants like Reeves and Gunn refuse to dismiss an idea outright, it means they're at least entertaining it behind the curtain. And in this industry, ideas that survive long enough usually find their way to the screen. And if you think those interviews are just empty words, wait until you see the strange overlaps and behind-the-scenes decisions that suggest something much bigger is going on. If Reeves' Batman world was truly meant to exist in isolation, then why do we keep seeing his fingerprints all over DCU projects? It doesn't add up. On paper, his Gotham is supposed to be sealed off, a noir-driven pocket universe untouched by aliens, superpowers, or cosmic chaos. But behind the scenes, cracks are already forming in that wall, cracks that point to something much bigger than Reeves just doing his own thing. Take the Clayface situation. When rumors surfaced that Clayface would appear in a DCU project, insiders reported that Matt Reeves was directly involved in the casting process. Let's stop there for a second. Why would a filmmaker, who is supposedly running a completely separate franchise, have any input at all in a character that's meant to live in Gunn's DCU sandbox? Unless, of course, Reeves' Gotham isn't as separate as we've been led to believe, his influence on a connected character screams one thing: coordination. Studios don't mix talent between universes unless they're planning some kind of crossover down the line. So when you stack all these overlaps, Reeves quietly influencing DCU casting, Arkham Asylum jumping sandboxes, technical leads admitting "we want it," and DC's proven track record with flexible continuity, the picture is undeniable. What looks like coincidence at first glance starts to feel like preparation. Like the pieces of two puzzles slowly being slid toward each other, Reeves' Gotham might not just be running parallel anymore. It may already be drifting closer to Gunn's DCU, waiting for the moment they finally collide. Because the truth is, the argument that these worlds don't fit together has already been shattered, and Superman himself is the proof. The biggest argument against merging Batman and Superman has always been tone. Reeves built a noir detective world filled with serial killers and mobsters, while Gunn is crafting a universe with kaiju, aliens, and cosmic chaos. On paper, they seem incompatible, but that assumption ignores what Superman just proved. This version of Metropolis can balance heartfelt character struggles with skyscraper-sized monsters and still feel grounded. Contrast isn't a weakness, it's the secret sauce. Batman doesn't break the rules of this world, he adds texture to it. Gotham's shadows make Metropolis' sunlight shine brighter. Superman's hope feels stronger when contrasted with Batman's rage. This isn't about forcing two puzzle pieces together. It's about realizing they were designed to fit all along. Marvel has already shown this works. Daredevil's bloody alleys, Moon Knight's horror-infused hallucinations, and Thor's cosmic adventures coexist without contradiction. DC doesn't just have the chance to repeat that formula, they can perfect it.
Everybody okay? Hey, buddy, eyes up here.
And if you're still not convinced, the evidence is hiding in plain sight. Blink and you'll miss it. Easter eggs buried right inside Superman's biggest moments. Fans who pay close attention already spotted hints buried inside Superman's action sequences. During the climactic battle, a blink and you'll miss it road sign flashes across the screen. Gotham City. Keep left. If Gotham is on the map, that means Batman exists in this continuity, whether the filmmakers want to admit it or not. Then, rewind a little earlier in the same film. Another sign appears, this one reading, "Major flood causes suffering." To casual viewers, it's just background noise. To anyone who saw The Batman, it's a chilling callback to the movie's ending, where Gotham was drowned by a catastrophic flood. These aren't random details, they're planted breadcrumbs. And the thing about breadcrumbs is that they always lead somewhere. Filmmakers don't insert references like that by accident, especially in a meticulously planned universe. If Gotham's flood already made the headlines in Metropolis, then Reeves' Batman timeline may already be canon, just not officially acknowledged yet. But while fans are spotting clues on screen, behind the scenes, Reeves' perfectionism might be creating the one obstacle that could sink the Bat before he even gets the chance to cross over. Of course, there's a risk here. Reeves is a perfectionist, a filmmaker who takes years to polish his stories. The Batman Part 2 was announced in 2022, yet here we are years later with almost nothing tangible except a distant release window in 2027 or 2028. Robert Pattinson recently admitted he only just learned the plot. That's how slow the gears are turning. Meanwhile, Marvel is marching forward with Secret Wars, an event so massive it could eclipse anything DC tries to put out around the same time. Imagine dropping a slow-burn detective noir just months before the MCU unleashes a multiversal apocalypse. Timing alone could bury Reeves' masterpiece before it has a chance to breathe. That danger is exactly why Warner Brothers may be forced to consider integration. A crossover with Superman wouldn't just be fan service, it could be survival. Because if Reeves' Batman stands alone too long, it risks fading in the shadow of Marvel's storm. And yet, even those delays might not matter, because James Gunn's vision for the DCU could be the very thing that makes Batman's gritty world indispensable. And yet, Gunn has already outlined a path where Batman can thrive. His vision for the DCU isn't about forcing every film into the same mold, it's about tonal diversity. He said it himself, the goal is to showcase different corners of the universe, each with their own flavor. One project is horror, another is space fantasy, another is political thriller. Why should Gotham's detective noir be excluded from that mix? By Gunn's own rules, it fits perfectly. In fact, it completes the spectrum. The DCU isn't meant to be uniform. It's meant to feel like a living world where stories can shift from cosmic to grounded without breaking. So, if Superman represents hope on a grand scale, Batman represents fear on an intimate one. Together, they form the balance Gunn keeps preaching, which begs the question, if his entire philosophy is built on contrast, why wouldn't Pattinson's Batman belong in his sandbox? And if you listen closely, Gunn and Reeves aren't just talking about their own projects, they're dropping hints, subtle but deliberate, that the door is already open. Neither Gunn nor Reeves has gone on record confirming a crossover, but both have dropped comments that feel like deliberate winks. When asked directly if Superman could appear in Batman Part 2, Reeves didn't dismiss it outright. He simply said it wasn't the plan at this point, but admitted it would be an exciting challenge if it ever happened. That's not rejection, that's hesitation. Gunn, meanwhile, casually mentioned Reeves' Batman during a Superman press tour on Late Night with Seth Meyers. Nobody asked about Gotham, nobody even brought up Batman, yet Gunn volunteered Reeves' name as if planting a seed.
James, congratulations on the massive success of Superman. I feel like the world is falling in love with David Corenswet. And I know you said that the next film you're writing is not a Batman versus Superman, but I was curious, have there been any talks about bringing in Robert Pattinson's Batman into the films, knowing the love that these two actors have?
I've said it before, we've talked about it before, but it's not what's happening right now. So it's, you know, listen, everything's in flux, so we'll figure out what we're doing next, yeah.
In Hollywood, that kind of slip isn't really a slip. It's strategy. Publicists and producers know every word will be dissected by fans. When they accidentally connect dots, it's often because they want us to start drawing the bigger picture ourselves. Which leads us to the most important question of all. How do you actually pull it off without breaking continuity? And what does the future look like if they do? So how do you actually make it work without breaking continuity? The fix is surprisingly simple. Timeline adjustment. Reeves' Batman takes place earlier, during Bruce's formative years. By the time Superman rises, Bruce has matured into the veteran crime fighter the DCU needs. That bridge closes every gap. And Gunn has already shown he's not precious about strict canon. He's twisting old projects like Peacemaker and Creature Commandos into new continuity. Fans didn't revolt, they embraced it. Because at the end of the day, people don't care about rigid timelines. They care about seeing their favorite heroes collide. And if Brave and the Bold stumbles, DC can't afford to waste years on yet another reboot. Pattinson's Batman is already beloved, already proven, already marketable. Leaving him out of the DCU isn't just a creative gamble, it's a business mistake. Sooner or later, the logic points in one direction. Merge them. Because at the end of the day, all the signs, all the whispers, and all the possibilities boil down to one choice that could change DC's future forever. When you stack up all the clues, the question isn't whether Pattinson's Batman can join the DCU, it's whether the people in charge will finally commit. The signs are everywhere in interviews, in background details, in suspicious overlaps between separate projects. The fans are asking, the filmmakers aren't denying, and the demand is too loud to ignore. In a world where Marvel is already accelerating toward multiversal madness, DC can't afford to play it safe with isolation. Bringing Batman and Superman together isn't just a dream scenario. It's the smartest move they could make. And that leaves us with one question to end on. Would you rather see Pattinson step fully into the shared DCU spotlight or risk waiting through another decade of reboots while the competition races ahead?